In this video, we're going to look at the DeWind module. So this is where you record an audio source, but it picks up the wind that's coming and hitting the microphone capsule and causing a sort of low rumble sound to the audio. Now here is an audio sample that I recorded with my field recorder. I did have the wind sock over the microphone, but there was still some wind that came through and hit the capsule and caused this low rumble on the audio. So take a listen over here, and then we'll go through the parameters on the module. Here recording a signal where there's some wind. We're going to see if we can remove some of that wind and how much of it can be removed. So there you go. That is the sample. You can hear that low rumble that's happening. You could have audio that's got more drastic wind to it, but I want to use one with some minimal wind just to see how much we can remove and clear up the audio signal. Going over the module, what you've got is you've got your reduction parameter that's going to allow you to dial in how much of the wind you want to reduce. Then there's the crossover frequency. Now this limits how high the reduction goes into the frequency. So normally your low rumble is going to sit quite low, around probably about 100 Hertz, but if it goes up a bit more, so let's maybe change this view, let's go to extended log, and you can see all that low rumble here sitting around about 100 Hertz. Maybe could go up to about 200. So for this, let's set it to 200 Hertz. Now, the low wind could be covering up the fundamental of the audio. So this is why you've got your fundamental recovery. This helps recover the fundamental after the reduction of the low wind. It does this by resynthesizing the low frequencies to build up that fundamental again. So this is the fundamental that's been lost or covered up by the wind. And then you've got artifact smoothing, where this just smooths out any artifacts that are created. For example, that sort of gurgly, underwatery sound that might happen when you push the reduction too far. So let's take a listen through on preview and tweak some of these parameters. So I'm going to just select all the audio and then preview it. Increase that reduction. Recording a signal where there's some wind. We're going to see if we can remove increase the wind fundamental recovery. How much of it can be removed. Here recording a signal where there's some wind. You can hear that wind there. If we can remove some of that wind and how much of it can. And then on again. So that does quite a good job. Now, like you've seen with other modules, doing a couple of passes can probably take you quite a far way with your audio quality. So I'm going to actually bring the reduction down and bring down the artifact smoothing. Then I'm going to select this all and render it out. As you can see, that's minimized the wind sound there. It's removed some of the lower rumble. Now I'm going to take the crossover frequency down to 100 Hertz, because you can see it's sitting still right about there. Maybe increase the reduction slightly and that fundamental recovery and do another pass. That's also removed quite a bit. Taking a listen now. Here recording a signal where there's some wind. We're going to see if we can remove some of that wind and how much of it can be removed. Obviously, if you start going too far, you are going to remove some of that original audio quality, but it's going to have to be a bit of a sacrifice. You're removing the wind to get some better audio quality, but in the end result, there's going to be a bit of a sacrifice on the voice, for example, over here. So let's see how far we've come. Here is the initial state. Here recording a signal where there's some wind. We're going to see if we can remove some of that wind and how much of it can be removed. And then after two passes of the DeWind. Here recording a signal where there's some wind. We're going to see if we can remove some of that wind and how much of it can be removed. Yeah, that worked pretty well. Also, what you could do is you could couple this module with a high-pass filter to remove some of that low rumble, or even use the dialogue isolate and deconstruct, as well as some spectral repair and some spectral denoising. So using a couple of combination of modules together, you can really isolate your audio and get some very good audio results. Catch you in the next video.